But what I know is I'm feeling just fine.
My life is like a red carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here. Fam, L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. You know, kids who cover for their mother, right? So Raven Yates is the lady in the thumbnail. I saw it on Pink Book Lessons first. She basically left her kids in the house for 2 months. 12-year-old taking care of a 3-year-old. 12-year-old wasn't registered for school, so it went kind of unnoticed because kid wasn't at school. And she had a 14-year-old that ran away a week prior to her leaving. And the 12-year-old basically was covering for her mom because she felt like her dad, if he knew the truth, was going to come and get her. And her younger siblings, who doesn't have the same dad, was going to be out, stuck on their own. And it sparked me to talk about this because, see, people like to talk about, the kids, and you should fight for the kids, which most fathers go to court when they have these court things, but when you have kids who quote unquote love their mother, and their mother has manipulated them in that way and brainwashed them in that way, or if you have kids that have siblings by other parents, they wind up covering for their mom because, their kids trying to quote unquote do the right thing. They know that their mom is dead wrong. They know that it's not a good situation. They know that their father would take over and probably put them in a better situation. But the issue is, I love my mama, so I'm gonna cover for her decisions. I gotta say, you see a lot of adults who regret that decision, and we don't talk about that enough. Like adults who are like, you know what, I shouldn't stay there. I stayed there out of quote unquote love or obligation, and they didn't necessarily have to make their dad the enemy, just the other parent per se. So when that happens, kids lie. Kids will lie. If something happens in the house, they won't tell you. There was a time period where, mothers will tell you not to tell because something that happened to mom, and so the kids are like, okay, I'm getting abused in some way, but I can't say anything because if I say something, they're gonna take me away from my mama. And Pink Book Lessons brought up something in that they sent the kids to their grandmother, the mother's mother, right? In Alabama. The father basically came from California to Texas to get his child, but basically the kids wound up in Alabama with their grandmother. And she was like, the grandmother knew that she left those kids because she saw her daughter in Alabama. So those kids are basically going to be at grandma's house, and mom's going to come by. And then the daughter's going to have to look like, I should have went with my dad. That's where I should have went, because grandma knew. Grandma knew. But when you're covering for mom, there's a fallout that comes with the choice. And you're a kid, so you make kid choices. But that doesn't mean that kids don't have regrets, because they do. And a lot of times you see young adults angry, or sometimes you might feel somebody spoiled or they come across entitled because they're like, your parent doesn't owe you anything. Well, if you had to cover for your parent doing bad things, your parent does owe you. Because that's not something you should put on a child in the first place. So when your kid has to go, you know what? I'm gonna lie because if I don't, I think this is gonna happen, or they told me that this could happen, and then you know, I don't want my mother going to jail. I don't want this. I don't want that. And then you know, from a person who'd already basically got locked up for a crime to still have custody after that, and then leave the kids to do God knows what. And the other thing about when I say to do God knows what, not registering a 12-year-old in school, like sometimes what you're seeing more and more is parents not caring about their children's education as much as they claim to care, letting kids fail, not this is not putting kids in school, and a lot of times this stems from you call that ripping and running. So they used to call it back in the day. When you go in this place and go in that place, or you're not stable, and there's supposed to be a custody hearing, so she's basically supposed to be a parent, but she's basically on the run in a sense, the way she's moving, and the kids got to pay for that. And the kids don't understand that mom's not a good person, and if you got to cover for somebody doing wrong, and at the same time love them and think they're a good person because you love them because they're your quote unquote parent, your mom or whatever, it confuses you on what right and wrong is. Because you think you can do something wrong, but if you're a good person, it's okay. And it's not okay. And that person's not really a good person. But, you know, society doesn't put pressure on those type of situations. But because I guess, mothers are good and fathers are bad stereotype. But I'm done on this one. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You ever been to the top of the universe? I'm gonna take it.